So last month, the Willow Glen neighborhood in San Jose, they saw a pretty big jump in home invasion robberies, burglaries, car thefts, most in broad daylight. Tonight, residents met with law enforcement to try to come up with solutions.
KRON 4's Gail Ong was at that meeting. She joins us live this evening and picks up the story. Gail?
JR and Catherine, the meeting ended just half an hour ago. This is the second town hall meeting held here in recent weeks. The first was addressing those rash of crimes you described. The second, local law enforcement helping residents protect themselves.
It used to be a really safe neighborhood. Now Willow Glen it's becoming to me, very scary.
Residents are fed up with the uptick of crimes in this quiet upscale neighborhood in San Jose. Just last month, home invasion robberies, burglaries, and auto thefts in broad daylight, leaving longtime residents on high alert.
Happening all the time.
Just this afternoon, someone stole Richard Zappelli's neighbor's tools.
One of my neighbors was having a handyman do some work inside the house. He went back outside to his truck to get his tools, and they're all gone.
Zappelli has lived in Willow Glen all his life. He says the crime spree started 6 months ago.
My son went to take the garbage out. He had the garage door open because we kept the garbage inside the house. When he came back, his bike was gone. So they're watching us all the time, so we know that.
Tonight, San Jose police and detectives held a second town hall meeting, this time focusing on crime prevention.
The truth is that we do need their help when it comes to solving crimes and making the community safer.
Captain Randall shares these tips.
We always tell people not to leave valuables in their car, make sure that they have good lighting in their house, doors and windows are locked. Those are just some of the simple things that we share with them. But we also want to show them how to identify something suspicious, because they can call us, officers can respond, and then we can catch the people who are committing those crimes, and ultimately that's what we want to do.
Law enforcement even changed its policies, responding to home alarms, verified or not, and have made arrests ever since. So far, more than a dozen arrests have been made in connection to these crimes. Live in San Jose, Gail Ong, KRON 4 News.
Thank you so much, Gail.
Now at 10, police arrested a 19-year-old East Palo Alto man in connection with a violent attack on a woman in Menlo Park this week.
Prosecutors say that woman had been jogging when the suspect began following her. She began screaming, and the screams helped her escape.
The man is now facing attempted rape and assault charges. Good evening, everybody. I'm Pam Moore.
And I'm Catherine Heenan, in for Ken Wayne. KRON 4's Gail Ong joins us live from San Mateo County with the story. It is new at 10. Gail, how did police track the suspect down?
Catherine and Pam, police actually caught the suspect on home surveillance video. They were able to get a picture of his vehicle that was parked near that trail where that woman was jogging. Police identified the suspect as 19-year-old Rogelio Artiga of East Palo Alto. And as you mentioned, he's now facing 3 felony charges. That includes attempted rape and witness persuasion. Investigators say just before 5 Monday afternoon, a woman was jogging in this quiet neighborhood in Menlo Park when this man began following her from behind. The 33-year-old woman was jogging here on Woodland Avenue. She said a man jogged towards her and asked her, "Do you like to dance?" She ignored the man and continued to run. He then followed her. The woman dialed 911. Investigators say that's when the suspect, 19-year-old Rogelio Artiga, grabbed her from behind and pulled her into the bushes where he tried to sexually assault her. The victim was able to break free.
This woman said enough, and she chased him out of the bushes there, screaming at him that she was going to get him for what he had done. He ran off, and she did the right thing, waited for the police.
San Mateo District Attorney Steve Wagstaff tells us it was the victim's scream that scared him off.
By her screaming and resisting when there was no weapon. The attacker did not have a weapon. I think she made the difference by her conduct. I'm very proud of her.
We saw several police cars just parked on the end of the street, and we were wondering what's going on.
Neighbors say the path is usually busy.
You see dog walkers here all the time. You see families out and about. There's, a decent amount of traffic on Woodlands, so it was really shocking to me that it happened in broad daylight.
Some here say it's a lesson in safety and never being too careful.
We think that Menlo Park is kind of super safe, and kind of expect to hear these kind of things happen in our neighborhood. So was super glad that they caught the guy, but really surprised that it happened here.
The homeowner who caught some of the incident on surveillance video says that same home surveillance video has caught other crimes. That includes home burglaries and a hit and run. Live in San Mateo County, Gail Ong, KRON 4 News.
Frightened and on edge, employees at a Yelp office in San Francisco are concerned after one of their co-workers was detained by police early today. Good evening, everybody. I'm Pam Moore.
And I'm Ryan O'Donnell in for Ken Wayne tonight. A Yelp worker saying the employee in question sent an email saying he was going to shoot people at the office. KRON 4's Gail Ong joins us now live with the story you'll only see here on KRON 4. Gail?
Ryan and Pam, people we spoke with today say the situation was handled quickly, but with the recent workplace shootings, the one in Maryland and Wisconsin, employees are on high alert. A KRON 4 viewer sent us this video of a man taken into custody by San Francisco police Friday afternoon, in the middle of a workday as his coworkers watch him leave the building. This is inside 55 Hawthorne Street in San Francisco, one of the Yelp offices. According to SFPD, the call came in around 2 in the afternoon with a report of a person wanting to hurt himself. But an employee who wants to remain anonymous tells KRON 4 the man also threatened to shoot coworkers.
Apparently, he had sent an email saying, "I'm coming to work. I have a gun or I'm armed, and I'm going to shoot my coworkers, and then I'm going to shoot myself."
This comes after recent workplace shootings, the latest in Maryland and Wisconsin. Although the incident at Yelp was handled quickly, employees are concerned about their safety.
The security guard who said that someone at work was not acting correctly, and so rather than, he decided to be preemptive and call the police, and the police were there right away.
Officers detained the male employee and he was taken to the hospital for a medical evaluation. There were no arrests or injuries.
I don't know what he was going through. Apparently he was just fine that morning. It's scary.
Yelp sent this statement to all employees addressing the incident, saying, "We received word earlier this afternoon that an employee at 55 Hawthorne might have brought a weapon to the office. For the safety of all employees, we notified law enforcement." SFPD responded and resolved the situation peacefully and without incident, while no weapon was found and no one was hurt. The employee was detained for his own well-being. We also reached out to Yelp for comment today, but we have not yet heard back. Live in San Francisco, Gail Ong, KRON 4 News.
Gail, thank you.
This evening, we're hearing from a North Bay woman believed to be the first victim of the notorious NorCal rapist. Thank you for joining us tonight at 10. I'm J.R. Stone. After 27 years, authorities arrested 58-year-old Roy Waller. He's accused of raping, torturing, and robbing at least 10 women over a 15-year span. KRON 4's Gail Ong spoke with one of his alleged victims. Tonight, she joins us live in Petaluma with more on what was said. Gail?
JR, she said she's been waiting for this arrest for a very long time. Now she's showing her face and sharing her story of survival to empower other victims.
It's hard to describe how I felt. It's a very strange, surreal feeling.
Nicole Ernest Pate is speaking out about what she says Roy Waller did to her 27 years ago. On June 22, 1991, Ernest Pate says Waller entered her Rohnert Park home and sexually assaulted her.
I fell asleep and woke up on my couch, and I ended up with a gun at my head.
Back then, she was 21 years old.
I thought it was a joke at first. I thought someone was playing some weird, sick prank. And then it seemed like forever until I figured out it was real. And then once it sunk in that it was real, then it became real very quickly after that. And then it went on for about 3 hours.
Thanks to genealogy test, police arrested 58-year-old Roy Waller Friday. Waller is accused of raping, torturing, and robbing at least 10 women over a 15-year span. He was living in Benicia and working at UC Berkeley. Ernest Pate is telling her story to empower other victims of sexual assault.
I am not embarrassed of what's happened at all, nor should any of the victims in this case or any other rape case.
She also says authorities at the time did not believe her story.
They thought I had made it up. They thought it was too fantastical to believe. They thought that there's no way that could happen in Rohnert Park.
Now a wife and mother, settled in Petaluma, she is living proof her life did not get destroyed.
What makes me sad is that in this case, not only in this case, but in many other cases, that women's lives get totally destroyed. And that kills me because it doesn't have to be that way.
Roy Wallace is scheduled to be in Sacramento court on Monday. Ernest Pay says she will be there, and she also hopes to attend every court date after. Live in Petaluma, Gail Ong, KRON 4 News. JR, based on an article in the New Yorker magazine, Senate Democrats are investigating a second woman's accusation of sexual misconduct by Judge Kavanaugh from his college days. The story was posted on its website early this evening. The magazine reports the claim dates back to 1983 to 1984. That was Kavanaugh's freshman year at Yale University. The New Yorker identifies the woman as 53-year-old Deborah Ramirez. Ramirez told the magazine she remembers Kavanaugh exposing himself at a drunken dorm party, thrusting his genitals in her face, causing her to touch it without her consent as she pushed him away. In a statement from the White House, Kavanaugh denies this ever happened. Now this after late night talks last night as his first accuser, Palo Alto professor Christine Blasey Ford, just agreed to testify at a hearing this week. This hearing will also determine the fate of Kavanaugh's confirmation, which hangs on the votes of a handful of senators. Exactly 1 week ago, the 51-year-old professor went public with her allegation that Kavanaugh assaulted her during a party in their high school days, an accusation he strongly denies. Democratic members of the Judiciary Committee wants to hear Ford's side. Meanwhile, Bay Area Congresswoman Anna Eshoo says she was one of the first to hear Ford's story.
My impression of her was that she was intelligent. She spoke softly. It was wrenching for her, I think, to tell the story because there's a re-experience when the story is told. She went into many details, and at the end of our conversation, I told her that I believed her.
After learning about the newest allegations, Senator Dianne Feinstein sent a letter to Senator Chuck Grassley, the GOP committee chair, to delay any further proceedings related to Kavanaugh's nomination. Feinstein is also requesting an FBI investigation for both allegations. Now, according to Ford's lawyer, further details about the upcoming hearings are still being worked out. As for the second accuser, the magazine says she does not know Dr. Ford. Live in a newsroom, Gail Ong, KRON 4 News. Matthew Mueller is currently serving 40 years at the Solano County Jail. Tonight, he's sharing his side of the story.
I think it's hard to know sometimes what the right thing is or what the right outcome is, but what you can at least know is what the proper process is.
Speaking to us from jail, Matthew Mueller is the man convicted in federal court in the kidnapping for ransom case. In 2015, Mueller broke in and attacked Denise Huskins and Aaron Quinn in his Vallejo home. Prosecutors say Mueller sexually assaulted Huskins and released her 2 days later outside her family's home in Southern California. Now Mueller, a disbarred Harvard-trained attorney, will get the chance to question his victims in court this week.
I had some very specific questions that are probably not the sort that folks would suspect. I was going to stay away from any of the touchier subjects. It's something that, unless you sort of understood some of the legal background, would not make a whole lot of sense. Nothing wildly dramatic. I'm, hoping no tears are going to be shed or anything like that. It was all pretty standard stuff.
He says he cannot give much details about the case, but we can expect to hear all about it in court. Mueller says his goal is to go forward with the process that will be fair and just with everybody.
All the players proceed in good faith. Everybody has their own interests, whether that interest be justice, revenge, freedom, whatever you want to call it.
Mueller tells me another reason he's going through this process is for his wife. In the meantime, a preliminary hearing court date is scheduled for Tuesday, which is 4 days before the couple's wedding. Live in the newsroom, Gail Ong, KRON 4 News.